Good morning. Welcome to the Community Voice. I'm Steve Graddick, your host, and delighted to have you with us this morning. Good. Okay, check mic. There we go. Well, okay, we finally got that. It's a Monday, so you know what that means. Challenges like never before. Okay. Good morning and welcome to the Community Voice. I'm Steve Graddick, your host, and we're getting everything adjusted here. And we're starting a whole nother week, and of course by Friday we'll have all the glitches out, and then we'll start over Monday, and there'll be new glitches. That's how it goes in my life. We are excited, actually, I'm very excited to have our guest in the studio this morning. We have Ricardo Davis, who's president of Georgia Right to Life. Good morning.
Steve, it's a pleasure being here. Thank you.
It's wonderful having you in studio, and we've got so much we want to talk about, but let me get through the housekeeping chores first. We want to mention to everyone today at the American Pie restaurant. Hold on a second. He's taking that around. This is live radio, so everybody bear with us. Spring for Life, you'll be speaking to a gathering at the American Pie Pizzeria on Maple Street beginning at 12:15. Come and enjoy some pizza with us. We're going to bring in some water. This will be wonderful for our Facebook audience.
Thank you.
But anyway, we're going to talk more about Spring for Life today. We want everybody to get there at 11:45, and it lasts to 1:15, correct? And but try to get there and join us for a free lunch. Can't beat that, free food.
Well, and I heard it's very good pizza.
Oh, it's great pizza. They're a great advertiser, and we love them, and they've been a good advertiser for many years. Okay, we're just going to pick, for the sake of time, bits and pieces out of your resume.
All right.
The first paragraph, obviously, is the most important one. Davis, comma, who desires to glorify the Lord Jesus Christ in his service to fellow board members and supporters by leading Georgia Right to Life's efforts to advance personhood, has a long and successful pro-life and business background. He's also an advisor to the Personhood Mississippi Board of Directors and chairman of the Constitution Party of Georgia. He was a petitioner with the Unborn Child Amendment Committee, worked with Texas Rescue in conducting protests at Austin abortion facilities, and was a volunteer and board member of the Augusta, Georgia Care Pregnancy Center. He currently is on the steering committee of the Morning Center, Atlanta, bringing Christ Center prenatal delivery and counseling services to underprivileged urban women and families at no cost and no government funding.
Amen. Most
recently, Davis has taken part in efforts to close the Alpha Gynecology and Consultants in Marietta. The facility was the home of disgraced abortionist Daniel McBrayer.
And they are closed.
Closed. That's one down.
Yes.
Davis and his wife Sheila have been blessed with 3 children. Well, good morning.
Good morning again.
All right. Well, let's get started. I wanted to start in a little bit different fashion today. I want to throw out something that I've been hearing more and more frequently lately, and just get your response. It seems like those on the other side, if you will, on the pro-abortion side, use this argument and have been since 1973 quite a bit, that a woman has a right to do with her own body as she sees fit without interference from government. How do you respond to that?
Well, true, but the baby in the woman's womb is another person, and she does not have the right to do with the child whatever she wants, including kill it. Just as I would not have the right to take my youngest daughter and kill her or abuse her because I have a whim to do so, I can't do the same thing when the child's in the womb. So what's the difference here? The difference is that when we strip any person, any human being, from their unalienable right to life, then we have injustice.
That leads me, one reason for setting it up like that, because Georgia Right to Life has been known, or is known throughout the nation, as a kind of a premier organization for the personhood amendment.
Yes.
So how do you jump from that first answer into being a strong advocate for the personhood amendment?
Well, we see that the personhood amendment really is taking the fight for the right to life into the 21st century. And the way I like to connect it for folks, my father's generation fought for personhood for the black man. Now, I grew up in Little Rock, Arkansas. I could ride my bike over to Central High. So I pretty much grew up in the middle of all that as a child of the 70s. What we're doing is we're connecting that fight where we're taking the message that Martin Luther King and others had there at the Southern Christian Leadership Group, that we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights. And when government, essentially when sin has become institutionalized and robs persons of their rights, it is the responsibility of the church to take a stand. And I'm not just talking about rhetorically taking a stand. I remember you mentioned a minute ago about personhood Mississippi. And the first attempt we had at passing a personhood amendment, we only got 42% of the vote there, which was pretty good, but again, we didn't win. And I was interviewed, I'd say about 3 or 4 months after that vote, brought on to a live talk show like this, only it was TV instead of radio. And the host led with, "So Ricardo, haven't the people of Mississippi spoken? Why are you all continuing to pursue this?" And I said, if my parents' generation had given up the first time they sicked the dogs on the peaceful Christian protesters advocating for the rights of the black man, we wouldn't be here right now. Likewise, what we are doing today and what I am encouraging people to do is, even though we have been fighting this fight in particular with regard to the beginning of life for over 4 decades now, but it is not time to give up. It is time to essentially dig and advance the message of personhood.
You started quoting the Declaration of Independence, and it goes, among them life. Life is the first one they mention.
That is correct.
And in some ways, that's really, if you don't have life, then there are no other liberties.
Well, it's hard to essentially build a just republic when life can be taken at a whim.
Hasn't the pro-life movement since 1973 really failed, though, in attaching itself to the personhood perspective?
Well, and again, I entered this fight in the mid-'80s. I became a believer in 1982, and shortly thereafter, God convicted me, actually opened my eyes to what was going on there. And in those early days, there was that orientation and understanding that even though they didn't call it personhood, they framed the message in that way. And as the years went on, we meaning the larger pro-life movement, backed away from that. And it wasn't until, roughly 10 years ago or so, that leaders in the pro-life movement, including my predecessor, Dan Becker at Georgia Right to Life, began to say, no, we're going back essentially to the foundation of what started this particular movement against abortion, and that is to take the stand on personhood and advance from that position.
Before we go to break, let me ask you kind of the same question but a little different way. And you mentioned the civil rights movement, but whatever historical perspective, be it the Nazi extermination of the Jews, the whatever genocide you want to go back through history to grab hold of, and there are plenty of them, of course.
Yes.
Are we not talking, though, in the same realm? I mean, we're talking 60 plus million babies since 73. Are we not talking a significant, whether it's the communist extermination of 40 to 6 million people actively and passively, the Jews, Rwanda, Armenians, whatever it may be, are we not in that same category?
Yes, we are. And it is our great national sin. It is somewhat frightening to read what the Bible has to say about the shedding of innocent blood and how God will require justice. So again, our call, if we're standing from that Christian understanding of personhood, that we're all created in God's image, and because of him being the creator and him and the one setting what is justice, what is law, how we are to protect life, we should look at where we are right now and say, if God would have mercy on us, then we must repent. We must take action to protect life. And maybe, just maybe, God will hear. If we would turn from our sins, he would heal our land.
Ricardo Davis, president of Georgia Right to Life, is our guest this morning. We'll be back with more after this word from Tanner Health System.
Need help finding something healthy to eat? Tanner Health System has an app for that. Minuit helps you find healthy food options on the go. The smartphone app is powered by Tanner's Health experts, who teamed up with restaurants across West Georgia to make it easier for you to choose healthy food and eat better. Minuit acts like your personal nutrition assistant, showing you the healthiest items on the menu. So when you're not sure what's good to eat, Minuit. You can even use the app to look up recipes and plan healthy meals at home, and modify your options based on nutritional preferences, such as a low-sodium or vegetarian diet. Minuit and Tanner Health System, making it easier to eat healthy and live well. A healthier lifestyle is only a fingertip away. Minuit is free to download on your Apple or Android smartphone. You can download it today by searching Minuit in the App Store or on Google Play. Learn more about Minuit at gethealthylivewell.org.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Community Voice.
Yes.
I'm to everybody. And we're back in studio with Ricardo Davis, president of Georgia Right to Life. And we're having a great program here talking about a lot of relevant things. And we're going to jump into something that actually is starting to gain very strong national attention, and that is the race for the 6th Congressional District, where Tom Price became Director of Health and Human Services. But supposedly we have this emerging Democratic candidate, John Ossoff, who in the 6th District, but there's a ton, and I don't even know how many, Republican candidates in the 6th
I recall correctly, there's 11 Republicans.
And they're spending millions upon millions upon millions of dollars.
Yes.
Probably on Atlanta TV, mainly in yard signs. But
Yes.
Anyway, do y'all have a dog in that race, or what's y'all's position?
Yes, we do. Georgia Right to Life PAC has endorsed Justin Hill for that seat. And the reason why Georgia Right to Life endorsed Justin is because he has a credible pro-life record in the state legislature. One of the things that the PAC wants to focus on is not just candidates who fill out a survey online and say that, yes, I'll do this, that, and the other, but especially when we're trying to promote or raise up leaders at the federal level. Our desire is to raise up candidates, to endorse and support candidates who have a proven record for standing for personhood here in the state of Georgia.
You just opened up something that I really want to ask you.
Yes.
We have a pro-life state legislature, correct? Dramatic.
In word, yes.
Dramatic pause. We have a pro-life governor, right? And now we have a pro-life Congress and a pro-life president. But you alluded to it. You know, basically you fill out a survey, then you run as a pro-life candidate, and then when you're elected, what do you do? It doesn't seem like they do all that much.
Yes, well, this gets back to what you were talking about earlier with regard to, you know, how the pro-life movement as a whole has gotten here. You know, when we kind of along the same time that Georgia Right to Life really shifted its focus from being more anti-abortion to being pro-personhood, we also changed our position from being kingmakers politically to being standard bearers. So we see our job, especially at the Political Action Committee, to be the ones to hold the standard and to essentially give our acclamation to those who actually uphold the standard of justice for all innocent human beings.
Now, the House Resolution 511 was filed by Representative Sherry
Gilligan, yes.
Gilligan of Cumming, Georgia, Republican, with 23 co-sponsors. What's the status of that? Did that ever get see the light of day?
Well, it saw a little light, but of course it did not make it through the House this time around. Now,
why? Three-letter question.
Yes, why? In short, Brother Graddick, number one, passing a constitutional amendment it requires a supermajority of the General Assembly, number one, and then needs to be essentially put before the people, and a plurality of the voters need to vote for it. So I see one challenge is that, number one, we, meaning Georgia Right to Life, need to do a better job of educating the people of Georgia regarding what personhood is. And when we are able to accomplish that, then we can focus on, well, if you want to see all innocent human life protected by law in our state constitution, then you need to support candidates and accept no substitutes. You know, like, don't look at somebody who just says, oh, I'll do whatever you want me to do if you just elect me to office. You know, my political maxim is deeds, not just words. You know, you want to find people who have expressed in their activities before you vote for them that they are not just agreeing with you on the subject, but they have made sacrifice to advance the cause.
Well, speaking of sacrifice to advance the cause, in your resume I read, quote, most recently Davis has taken part in efforts to close the Alpha Gynecology and Consultants in Marietta. The facility was a home of disgraced abortionist Daniel McBrayer.
Yes.
Unquote. Where is the pro-life movement now in, well, you know, we heard for many years about Randall Terry and Operation Rescue, and where are we across this nation in terms of closing down clinics, be they Planned Parenthood clinics or otherwise?
Well, again, broadly speaking, in the pro-life movement, we're treading water. However, a lot of the core groups that were around the Christian pro-life resistance from that time when Randall Terry was active, they are still going strong. You don't see a lot of them, but I think what has been what I call the turning point is that there has been a call for people to come and actually be at ground zero to pray and intercede. One of the first things I did back in the 80s when I went to participate in peaceful protest was to be part of the prayer team. And with 40 Days for Life, which we at Georgia Right to Life support, we are seeing as God's people, as people who are grieved about what's going on with the whole issue of abortion, as they actually come out and see what's going on and pray, two things happen. Number one, God moves. We actually see babies saved. But secondly, we see people actually get more involved. Not only just as a presence there to help counsel men and women, but also do whatever they can in their sphere of influence to help promote personhood. So in one sense, what we try to do at Georgia Right to Life is we want to promote that anything that we can do, whether it be end of life issues or beginning of life issues or in between, we want to do those things where we want to engage God's people, to not just talk about it, but to see what's happening. And what we saw with McBrayer's clinic over in West Cobb was that as local community leaders, activists, they actually got involved. It was a blessing to see, up to 100 people regularly in front of that clinic. And they appealed not only to their local leaders, but also the landlord of the building that this abortionist was operating in. And by God's kind favor, their lease was terminated. And as far as we know, that abortionist is no longer in business here in the state of Georgia.
You've heard it probably more than one time. The critics, the pro-abortion critics will say, well, when activists get in front of a clinic like that, they're intimidating the woman and bringing fear upon the woman that's just simply seeking an abortion. How do you respond to that?
Well, what we are doing is we're extending hope and healing to all men and women, because a lot of times the men bring them there.
Right.
Sometimes we are, as it were, the last line of defense for women who are taken there to these facilities forcibly. In other words, they're not going there on their own free will. They may be, the prostitute who's been taken there by her pimp, a sex slave, or a young woman who's a victim of incest. We may be the last line of defense because, again, our proclamation of the gospel is not just to the woman, but to the men that are there too.
And the clinic is not necessarily saying you can have the child, put it up for adoption. It's not offering
that. They don't make money doing that.
They don't make any money doing that. Follow the money.
Yes.
Well, we're going to talk about the money after this next break when we dive into a little bit into Planned Parenthood. But first, this word from Tanner Health System.
In sports, when you play to win, you get your game on. Shouldn't the same be true when it comes to your health? At Tanner Health System, we're going to help you get your healthy on. Tanner is leading the way for you to eat better, get fit, manage or prevent diabetes, and live tobacco-free, so you and your family can get your healthy on every day. It all starts at gethealthylivewell.org. Check out upcoming healthy living events and join others in the community taking action to live well every day. GetHealthyLiveWell.org. Tanner Health System's way of helping you get your healthy on.
Need motivation and support to eat healthier, become more physically active, or quit tobacco? Tanner offers free classes to help you get your healthy on. Register today by calling 770-214-CARE. That's 770-214-CARE. Learn more at gethealthylivewell.org.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Community Voice. I'm Steve Greidick, your host. Delighted to have you with us. We'd like to remind you that you too are invited to Spring for Life at 11:45 beginning today. And Brother Ricardo Davis, President of Georgia Right to Life, will be speaking from 12:15 to 1:15. Come join us for great food.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, at American Pie Pizzeria. And Dwayne Hack will be there too. And it's free. He reminded me to tell you that it was free.
Yes, this is courtesy of West Georgia Right to Life.
Exactly, and all his wonderful sponsors and the people who help support West Georgia Right to Life. We cannot finish out this program without talking about Planned Parenthood and Donald Trump, can we? I mean,
fire away,
okay,
sir.
Well, It looks like, before Barack Obama left office, he signed, I guess it was executive order, and then Trump undid that, basically allowing state governments to withdraw from the Title X funding of Planned Parenthood, correct?
Yes.
Okay, where are we on that? Are you optimistic, whether it be through the repeal and replace legislation for Obamacare or in any form or fashion that eventually our tax dollars won't go to Planned Parenthood?
Well, I will be hopeful when I see the people of the state of Georgia hold their congressmen and senators accountable to do what they need to do to protect all innocent human life. As far as the president is concerned, yes, what he's done is a great first step. There's a lot that the president can do that doesn't need congressional action. What he can do within the executive branch to promote personhood, like our former president promoted all manner of sexual licentiousness. What the president can do is essentially, as they say, personnel is policy, remove those individuals that are promoting those perverse policies and then promote those who will help advance personhood. And it doesn't require one solitary vote from Congress.
Your opinion of the Supreme Court nomination of Neil Gorsuch?
Cautiously optimistic. In particular, what he has written, opinion that he's written with regard to end-of-life issues was definitely dead on with regard to personhood. However, he has no jurisprudence record on some of the beginning of life personhood issues. So at this point, I would encourage folks, yes, to pray and ask the Lord to give Justice Gorsuch wisdom and leading with regard to adjudicating on behalf of all innocent human life.
Well, unfortunately, we're going to run out of time, and so we need to insert here about 20 minutes on Planned Parenthood. But with all that you've just said about personhood and when speaking about the clinics, if our tax dollars are being channeled through the federal government to state governments and then to different aspects of Planned Parenthood, and one is pro-life, is there anything beyond holding your elected officials accountable?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, there is.
Which is?
Well, Jesus said, if you want to be great, you have to serve. And it is just a part of the way he created this earth and how he created us as men and women, that when you serve on an individual or family or a church level or even in a community, when you get together and you serve folks, then you essentially give, well, the government doesn't have a problem here if my family's taking care of things, or my church is help meeting needs here, or my community comes together to help serve this need. So let's make this practical. When your local pregnancy resource center has the support of your community, there's no need for a woman to drive over to Atlanta and get an abortion, because they have the wherewithal to reach out and support and help women right here in the community.
Our guest this morning has been Ricardo Davis, president of Georgia Right to Life. The website is grtl.org.
That's us.
And today at 11:45, join us for lunch at the American Pie Pizzeria. Ricardo will be speaking from 12:15 to 1:15. We're very grateful for you taking the time to be in studio today. Thank you. God bless you. And we thank you for listening.
Thank you. And thank you, Wayne, for
Dwayne
for bringing me down here. And
Dwayne Hatt's the man.
yes.
All right. Hope you'll be listening tomorrow when we have more of the Community Voice here on WLBB Carroll.
National headlines, Georgia state news and sports, and the local stories you care about. News Talk 1330 WL.